Oh man, let me tell you, I've been doing Doom since I picked it up yesterday, just the campaign anyway. Oh boy, it
Right?
is way too damn good, way too damn
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
good.
Yeah, it's delicious.
I still haven't
It's a
gotten
great
into the
FPS.
multiplayer yet. I've just been doing the campaign, but I am having such a good time with it. Like,
Yeah, see, I started just with just with the multiplayer. I haven't even tried the campaign yet, and I'm already excited just from the graphical ability, the dynamic. It's not too fast, but it's not too slow. It's the characters.
what
The
it feels like to me is it's almost like the original Doom games, but a lot more polished. Like it's got the same feel to it, where it's just fast paced, action, hard hitting, go for it. But we're gonna throw a little story in there too. So enjoy that.
They took Doom 2 and they said, "Oh, it's 2016, so let's make it 2016 ready," and that's what they did. And it has that original Doom feel. Yeah, so it's exciting.
This is why I always trust Bethesda's games nonstop, because they haven't done me wrong so far.
Actually, it was made by id. I think Bethesda just produced it, so it's got the old school feel of.
Right. Well, it was picked up by Bethesda, weren't they? I think Bethesda's their parent company now, or something like that.
Yeah, Bethesda does a lot of publishing, but id, I think, did a lot of the old school type Twitch shooters. So they.
Right, because I know Bethesda is the parent company for Arcane Studios, who did the Dishonored games. I don't know if you played those, but holy shit!
I hear they're amazing, and their Dishonored 2 is supposed to be a big release for them. I just got the game in front
of That's probably going to be my game. It's either going to be Overwatch or Dishonored 2 is going to be my game of the year for 2016. Let me tell you what, because I still haven't stopped playing Overwatch either. I don't know. I'm up to level 40 now, and I was up playing till like 1 in the morning or some shit last night. It was ridiculous.
Nice.
What are you going to do? Well, welcome to a very first-person edition of the Pressure Cooker. As always, I'm your host, Stefan.
It's Paul.
And I am Mario Loria, coming back again. I was on the So Italian episode 1 or 2 episodes ago? I forget.
Yeah, it was 2 episodes ago. Yeah.
Yes.
It was right after the St. Patrick's. It's really upsetting because we really haven't put out that many videos, right? We're still sub 100 videos, but I'm having a hard time keeping all this content straight. Like I was talking to someone about the channel the other day, and I was trying to bring up one of the old not the pressure cookers, old Under the Tables that we did, and I was having the hardest time placing which one it was on. I was like, months.
Which season?
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's like the Bond movies, right? They blend together. Like it's like, which one was that in? I don't remember. I mean, unless it's in the title, like The Man with the Golden Gun, you don't remember. So
right. I think the hardest thing too is, at least with the Under the Tables, just a little alcohol. So
get a couple of details.
Yeah, as long as I get the broad strokes for it, that's the important thing, right?
Yep.
I'm just going to let that one be as it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and say here real quick that this podcast is sponsored by Bay Veterinary Clinics. We'll come back to them in a little bit. But you know what? Let's just keep rolling on the topic that I guess we started off with. So Steam Summer Sale, right? Just started a couple days ago. And I don't know about you guys, I'm kind of disappointed in it this year.
I think it's just because I've grown such a big catalog of games, but there's really not much else. I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff in my wish list, but every time I look at it, even if it's on sale, I'm just kind of like,
so what, right? Yeah.
I've got 130 other games.
That's the problem. We're seasoned pros at this already. Like, I had my big awakening in the Steam Summer Sale in like 2012, and I dropped like $200, and I got like packs and packs and packs, and now it's just like there's small dribbles of things that I want, but there's no definitive like big packs that I'm really excited about. And the deals are pretty good, but just like I'm keeping up on things, So
I've always been one of those people where I'll just pick up the games that I legitimately want to play. Like, I recognize that the Humble Bundle is a wonderful thing, but it's hard for me to drop money on that just because I know I'm going to get so many games that I'm never going to touch. So why should I bother picking it up? So I pretty much just pick up the games that I want to play, and I'm only at something like 30 games in Steam here.
Okay.
But even still, the big thing that disappoints me just with the summer sale this year is the fact that they're not doing daily sales or flash sales or any of that. It's just, here's what we've got on sale. You've got till July 4th. Pick it up at your leisure.
I think there are people that are like all on sale. Like they've got this giant catalog. But then they do have kind of like the featured sales.
Well, what they're doing is, so all the games are on sale, like I said, through the 4th. But they just rotate what their featured item is daily.
Just one.
Exactly, yeah. So all the games that you're seeing on sale, it's the ones that are on sale until the 4th. So
Right,
there's really no pressure to pick everything up,
Right.
keep up with the sales or anything.
Yeah, and they've always done it's a week long, and then every day there's a special theme or genre or event that's going on. They do a fancy graphic for it, and that's exciting. That's a big deal. Like that gets people excited, and there's a different crop of games that you might be interested in. So
right, exactly, yeah. The only thing that I wish they would stop. This is just me anyway. I hate the trading cards. Right?
Yeah.
What's the point of having the trading cards, especially now because it used to be you could sell those for, I mean, like small amounts of money. You could get maybe, if you were lucky, like a quarter off of one of those trading cards, right? But it's
when they came out, they were like big for like a week or two, and then so they were like a couple bucks, and then they went right down to like I think most of mine are 8 to 10 cents,
something like that. Yeah. But the big thing now is you don't even get money for selling those cards. You get gems that you can redeem for other collector's packs to get more trading cards. Just give away for more gems. The cycle repeats. What's the point?
Right. Yeah. Yep. It's kind of meh.
Yeah, it's kind of gone the way of like achievements for me. Like, yeah, you got them, but so what?
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, you're so cool, bro. I wish I was just like you.
Look at me. I've got 24,000 gamer score, and I don't know what a vagina.
Basically, yep. That happens.
Seriously, what's a vagina?
It's like, I don't know. It's like a truck, right?
Yeah. It's a neat way to get around town.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's a cavernous region that women possess. That's all I know. So.
Wait, what's a woman?
What are women? Enlighten us.
Anyway, so Steam Summer.
Yeah.
I picked up Doom, and that seems to be like the only game that I legitimately wanted. That's everything else is just all right, whatever. I mean, maybe for like the 3 people out there who don't have Gary's mod yet, okay, go ahead and pick that up.
Right, I see that. Like that's a big tile on their site. It's like, come on, who doesn't have that?
Everyone's got Gary's mod. The only other thing and there's probably still a pretty good camp of people that haven't played these yet, but the Metro games, 2033 and Last Light, those were some of my favorite games too. Just because I'm a big fan of like the ambiance behind games like that.
Dystopian type.
The dystopian type of feel to it, right? There was one game that I picked up on Steam Summer Sale, not last year, but 2 years ago. It was called Nether, where it's kind of like H1Z1 mixed with holy crap, brain, mixed with Metro 2033, where it had like that dystopian feel to it, and it had Metro style monsters, kind of. Fuck's going off my mic? Oh, whatever. I'll come back to that. And it had Metro style monsters, but there we go. I fixed it. Don't worry. Calm down, people. It had Metro style monsters to it, but an H1Z1 feel to it, where you could level up and rank up your weapons, rank up your person, and all that stuff. So that was cool in that aspect because I'm all about RPGs. Always have been, always will be. But what was cool with this game was when you die, back to level 1, back to basics, start over. That was interesting.
Yeah, that's brutal. Taking it back to the 1980s where you didn't have a place to save your game, so you're starting fresh. Yep.
Bingo bang.
Yep. You sat in front of the TV until you finished that bitch.
Exactly.
That happened. Yep. So I'm just browsing around, and it looks like they actually have the VR games, like a great collection of VR games, and almost all of them have some sort of discount. It looks like average around 20-25%, but that is really cool. And it looks like there's a new one called Apollo 11, which gets my dick slightly hard because I'm a big fan of NASA and space travel, and like you're literally in the cockpit, and like it's the full experience. You got 400,000 buttons in front of you. Yeah. I really want to drop $3,000 on a rig right now and just VR it up.
Hey man, you don't even need 3,000. So I put 1,700 into my desktop that I'm running here, and it can easily handle VR and then some.
True. And then I got to buy the whatever set I want to buy. I do want to get the Vive. I think the Vive is pretty sweet. I demoed that a few weeks ago. It is sick, man.
And that's, I think that's the reason that they have a lot of VR stuff on sale right now too, is because the Vive literally just came out for a commercial release. They're trying to push that, and Oculus is supposed to be coming soon-ish. So they're trying to keep VR fresh in people's minds so that they can get ready
for sure.
This shit.
For sure.
What's really interesting, though, is I don't know if you guys have watched this with Oculus or not, but their price point on it is a lot higher than the Vive is right now. And they've just gone out and said, yeah, we're not going to change that. We're going to keep it at $800 because we feel that it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. The Vive, the controllers look really intuitive for a lot of the games.
Yeah.
They're really integrated as well.
Whereas all it is with the Oculus is it's literally just a headset.
Yeah, so I feel like I'd be leaning more towards Vive if there wasn't more DRM on the Oculus.
Exactly, and that's the big thing with it too. There's going to be a lot of exclusives for the Oculus, and they say that that's going to merit the price for it. I don't know about that because you can get equivalent games that are available on the Vive or other VR headsets, and for like a quarter of the price.
Yeah, and if they use NVIDIA or Steam's VR APIs instead, then they're compatible with both, and everything's great.
Well, exactly, yeah. So why even bother? It feels to me like Oculus has some real brass cojones, and good for them to stick into their guns. If they think that they have the superior product, by all means, fucking prove it. Yeah. I've always been about vote with your wallet. If you really want this shit to happen, shell out the money for it.
Sure. I think they're going to come off as a premium brand. We are the premium VR. We're going to be the absolute best experience you can get. And the people that are going to be able to pony up the extra 300 or whatever it is will do that to get the best, to say they have the best. So I was impressed with the Vive. I would probably, if I had to make a choice right now, it'd be that. But I'd like to see where things go. I think we need a little bit of time to see how they mold, and like you were saying with the exclusives, there's going to be very similar games on the Vive and other platforms. We need a little bit more time, I think. So,
well, the big thing is everyone's making this big push for VR right now, but again, the Vive is pretty much the only thing that's out right now, unless you want to count like the Samsung like Google Cardboard, the Samsung VR, but that's more mobile anyway, so you can't really do a whole lot with that. And everyone's getting on this VR craze, but we haven't really even seen what it's capable of yet.
Right.
How about we give it a little time before we start saying who's the best and all that?
Exactly.
Maybe that's just me using common sense, though.
Yeah, we don't need that here. Like we don't need that.
No
one needs that. No, you don't need the common sense. Just do whatever. Just spend money. It's cool.
So speaking of space, which we are, let's just call a spade a spade. Space is pretty dope, and dope things happen there. So, the Falcon 9 rocket, SpaceX, right? They just had a launch not too long ago where they were trying to. Why can't I found it. I got it. Don't worry. Everybody calm down. They had another Falcon 9 launch, which was their 9th launch with SpaceX, or the 9th launch where they were attempting to get it to land on that movable drone ship that they have. Because the whole idea that Elon Musk has behind all this is keep reusing these rockets, because NASA shuttled so much money into their space shuttles and they only used them once, and then they would crash back down and that's it, never to be seen again, right?
Well, the shuttles were, but they're because of the height they fell from and stuff, all the boosters and stuff were basically just scrap when they landed. So
right, they would burn through and it wouldn't be worth it. So they have, as of this last launch here, they now have a 4 out of 9 success rate with getting them to land on that movable drone ship that they have, which let's go ahead and just call a spade. That's better than any other company has going on.
Yeah, it's better than 0, and it's better than 1. It's 4. So, and sure, it's not 100%, but it's better than what we had. We're making progress, right?
Exactly. Yep. The thing is, too, there's only one other company that's been able to successfully re-land a rocket after they got it to launch. I can't remember the name of the company now for the life of me, but it's something. Anyway, so yeah, they're at 4 out of 9 now. This one, it was just about to land, but then apparently one of the oxygen chambers, it oxidized too much for the rockets, and then crash, explode. That's what it is. But what I love is how Elon Musk phrased how it went down. He called it a RUD, which stands for Rapid Unscheduled Disassembly. Like, that didn't explode. It was a rapid unscheduled disassembly. That's a good way to put it. I like that. Props to him.
Inventive, yep. That's the innovative talent we need when we think about wordage. That's how it should look. Yes.
A lot of people like to give Elon Musk some crap. I don't know about you guys, though. The man can do no wrong in my eyes. I'm all about everything that Elon Musk is doing.
Yeah.
If in my eyes, if he were running for president, I'd register to vote like 1,400 times. I don't know how, but I'd find a way.
Actually, he would probably win. If he started running right now, he would still win. Like he'd be fine. I mean, the guy, he's great. And even if you don't agree with everything he's done, what are you doing today? Yeah. Because I'm sure he's doing something much more awesome and better for society than you are. Just saying.
Yep.
Just saying. I love our viewers.
That's doing a rapid unscheduled disassembly? No, shut the fuck up.
Right.
He really is a modern day Tesla. Hence why he's got the Tesla brand.
Tesla, yeah.
Which, did you see? So there was some massive flooding in like Finland, Denmark, somewhere around there, right? And someone was driving a Tesla over there, and the water was coming up to.
We're sitting down.
We're sitting down. So. Something like, I'll say like 3 feet, enough to get into like the wheel wells and everything, right? And he said, we don't advise that you do this, but this person figured it out. In some instances, the Tesla can be used as a boat because it's got the right frame to it, and since it's an electric car, the gas isn't going to combust in it or anything. It's going to just, if you move it in the right positions, it won't short out the engine, anything. You can just go, cruise like a boat.
Because they knew people would be taking it through inclement weather, and actually in like Scandinavia, they've got they brought the all-wheel drive edition to Scandinavia first for the extra traction and stuff there.
Yep.
It's all sealed, waterproof, and then you don't have to worry about air intakes. You don't need to snorkel on the Tesla. So
right. Wow. It was actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check that out.
I actually have an Easter egg too, where it has the convertible car boat from one of the Bond films.
Oh, that's right.
You can pull that up on the dash. So
that's sick.
Another little Easter egg in the dash on there, where I forget what sequence of events it is that you do, but you activate it, and the road that displays that you're driving on becomes Rainbow Road.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's all I want, is to feel like I'm in Mario Kart when I'm doing a Tesla.
Basically, that waterproofing is really solid though, because I mean, there's flooding that happens. It's not every day you hear about flooding, but there's storms, right? And you know, in the United States, you've got the southern United States gets it every year. It's like you hear about something, it totals cars. People, I mean, you lose this huge investment, and if you know you can buy a Tesla, and even if it floods, you're pretty much good up to a certain level or whatever. If it's 100%, I mean that's better than nothing. That's better than if it floods, you're completely screwed. So it's another big buying point.
I mean, just today even, it was raining really hard here up in Houghton, and I was actually, so I'm Hancock side, and I was going across the bridge coming back here, and I was right as I came across the bridge is when it just started downpouring, and I mean downpouring, like my clothes are still drying in the shower, downpouring.
Oh,
fucking terrible. Like I was actually walking in like ankle deep water, like a quarter of the way to my house here. It was.
Actually worried about my car a little bit, hitting some puddles there, because it's not like a nice car. It's just really short though, so it's like a Chevy Malibu. So it was getting a little feeling all the water up on the floorboards and stuff.
Oh yeah. So let's call a spade a spade. That thing is approaching the end of its life.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive it till it explodes and then do something.
You might as well at this point. You put enough time into it. Put enough money into it too.
There you go. Yep. That's awesome.
So while we're on the vein of Elon Musk, this story came out a couple of days ago. He purchased a company called OpenAI not too long ago, right? Mm-hmm. So they're trying to work on different AI and everything. They're essentially trying to build Jarvis. They're working on a robot butler. Now, right now, all they're doing is it's similar to like Google's DeepMind, where it's following the footsteps of that, and they're trying to get to the point where it can play games with people like chess or checkers or something, but also be able to handle all the mundane tasks as it's going around doing things. The way that I can imagine it is they'll probably get like a Boston Dynamics robot or something like that, which I'll circle back to the new robot that they just put out too. But something similar to that where it can do the mundane tasks, but also have like a personality behind it and be able to be social and extend something like that too. So I think that I'm sure it's gonna have a high price point to it because let's call it spade to spade. Something like that deserves a high price point.
Oh, yeah,
But all I want is that.
yeah,
That's all I want.
Pretty much. Yep.
Robots.
Yep.
They're wonderful.
like an iRobot type thing. Well, maybe not taking over the world, but anyway. Like just,
Yeah, probably not that part, Paul. We
All right,
probably should stay away from that. Just
All right,
you know,
we won't take over the world. Just a country.
yeah, it's
Just one country. That's all I want.
sounds good with me. Yeah.
Robosha. And then we'll just go to Robosha and kidnap one, and then we'll use it as a butler every now and then.
No, we'll go Futurama style. Robonia.
Oh, Robonia?
Robonia!
Yeah, it looks like they actually have Peter Thiel as well, and some other pretty big names as sponsors, AWS, and then just a bunch of other people they're working with. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. I'm excited about this.
Yeah,
You know,
it should be a pretty good time. So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
man, I just realized this is like the last couple of pressure cookers that we've done. Yeah, they've been really tech heavy, and mostly just because the only place that I seem to get my news anymore is either CNET or Slashdot, because I really don't care about anything else that's going on. But now I just realized that all three of us, we have networking degrees to some, like computer networking degrees to some extent. Welcome to the Tech Cast, I guess.
Yeah.
basically, Michigan Tech for the win.
Hey.
Yup. Technology for the win.
So speaking of technology, but we're going to circle back to super old school technology. You guys remember Napster?
I was more of a Kazaa, or however you say it, kind of guy, but yes.
Back in the good old day. Why don't we just get LimeWire while we're at it, too?
I did do that for a little bit.
Morpheus, if anybody's heard of that.
Yeah.
Yes, eDonkey, for sure.
eDonkey. I forgot about eDonkey, too. My God. Well,
Yeah.
now that we circle back to 2002, so Napster's coming back. So Rhapsody purchased Napster in, what, 2007? Something like that?
Yeah, something around there.
And Napster got rebranded as Rhapsody, and Rhapsody kind of just fell off the face of the earth because iTunes and Spotify and then everything else just kind of took off from there, right? Well, apparently Rhapsody has still been around, and it's still kicking, and it's rebranding itself as Napster.
Because I think maybe we see that...
that name recognition. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, they purchased Napster in 2011. I'm reading the article on Slashdot here now. But it's rebranding itself as Napster. They made the announcement in the blogs. No changes will be made to your playlist, favorites, albums, and artists. Same music, same service, same price, 100% of the music you love. Stay tuned! The company didn't elaborate as to why they decided to change their name. Napster has made a name for itself as being a brand synonymous with illegal music downloads. You guys remember the shenanigans that went down when Metallica got involved with them? Which I think was the big reason that Metallica just fell off the face of the earth and everyone kind of stopped caring about them to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I suppose that kind of coincided with the release of Saint Anger, too, and that was a terrible album.
That was the late 90s, right? This was the late 90s, early 2000s, and Metallica's last one or two albums were just meh, right? Their fans were hating them. Lars was like, rah, 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 music, you're downloading your stuff. I mean, the entire band was, but I remember watching footage of them walking or going to Napster's headquarters, and they brought trucks of pieces of paper with IP addresses. And they said, what are you doing about it? Like, these are people that are clearly stealing our music. Why aren't you doing something about it? Yeah, and after that, I mean, their popularity has really, they went probably to the bottom, and I think they've worked their way back up. But yeah, I'm actually surprised they're bringing back the Napster name. I mean, Rhapsody, people don't really, Napster, sure, but at the same token, it's kind of almost tainted in a way.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always going to have that dark cloud looming over it. When there are so many other music services that are out there right now that people are just all about. Like I said, Spotify people are huge into. Pandora now is another big one. YouTube Red, you can watch basically anything on there. And iTunes itself, too. There's still so many users that are using that just because Apple, they don't want to get anything else. They'll just stick with iTunes.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that love Pandora to death, and they listen to it daily, and it's great. But I'm starting to hear a lot of them that they're like, you know what, it'd be cool if I could play something when I want to on demand. and they're starting to look at what else is out there. Well, if you look at it, you got Spotify, Google Music, and a few other leaders, and no one ever goes, "Oh yeah, I should check out Rhapsody," or one of these other like way and out left field providers. With Google Music tied to your Google account, Apple Music, just Spotify is huge. The apps they've got work really well. Yeah, I think those are kind of like your top three, right? I think they've got the market.
Absolutely.
So.
I mean, I've had Spotify myself for pushing 3 years now, and I pay for Spotify, except I always forget that I pay for Spotify. That's how nice the service is
right.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, like when I'm checking my bank accounts, is like, wait a minute, where did $10? Oh yeah, I've got paid for Spotify. That's right. It never occurs to me that I'm actually paying for it. That's how wonderful the service is. And I mean, if you've got something like that, how can you compete?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a small fee. It's really convenient, and then I don't even really notice using it. I just kind of pop it on in my car, and I don't even really notice that I pay for it anymore.
Yeah, it just works, right?
What's also the big thing that I love it for is you can just continuously keep playing from device to device. So I'm one of those people where I wake up, I get in my car, I got my music on in Spotify as I'm on my way to work. Get to work, transfers over onto that machine, it just instantly picks up, right? And then when I go home from work, plug it back into my car, and it keeps going on my phone. And as soon as I get home, it just picks up where it leaves off. I've constantly got music going. It's wonderful.
When you switch devices, too, there's like half a second of lag, which is really nice. At one point, I think we were at our friend's house, and then he was actually using his computer and then switched to controlling his phone with his computer Spotify to play to Bluetooth. It's pretty great. Beautiful.
Just beautiful the way that they do it. If nothing else, what I really like, too, is that I can have it playing, like, say, on my desktop here. But if I'm playing Overwatch or something and I'm neck deep in the game and I don't want to switch over to actually, change music or anything, well, I can see the controls on my phone, hit next on there, boom, good to go.
And then I've got smartwatch, control it from the smartwatch.
Exactly.
Yep. It's those things make you feel like you're in 2016, right? Those are the things that, like, wow, we are making progress, right? And you're excited, right? And you're willing to spend the $10 or whatever a month. It's exciting. It's exciting when companies do some cool stuff like that. So,
and then we circle back to companies like Rhapsody, and no one knows what they're doing because they kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Yes.
So
that happened.
Good for you, Rhapsody / Napster or Napster, whatever you guys are now. Keep at it. We assume. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably just saw like Tidal and stuff haven't failed yet because they have exclusives and such. So they probably thought that they could kind of ride on that train, but they haven't signed any exclusives because nobody wants to be with Napster. No artists want to be with them.
What's Kanye's music service? That Tidal. That's what it is. Tidal. I love how they're still trying to make a push for Tidal when it's like $20 a month and you have maybe like a quarter of the artists. Like you have Taylor Swift, Adele, and Kanye.
Yeah, I can get.
What if you want to listen to literally anything else?
I think there's a few more things other than that, but I do see what they're trying to do, and what they're trying to really push is quality, right? And they're saying that we can provide you actual CD quality. This isn't just ripped MP3s that are of some, or actually Spotify uses the OGG format, but it's not just some arbitrary format we use. This is, you bought a CD, exactly what it's going to sound like will be hitting your earlobes or ears very quickly. And so I see what they're doing because I'm an archivist, I'm an audiophile. I understand quality. I mean, vinyl I love it, but it is that price, and they've got to get over that. And you're going to really need to have someone who's a unique person and really, really can hear that difference, has great headphones or great speakers in their house, and is really going to want to benefit from that. They also do have, what's cool is they do have for students can get in for a bit cheaper, which is nice. So if you use the student discount, I think it's a lot more comparable to something like Spotify. So, but yeah, they've got some big, their collection is not as large, and I don't know, I haven't actually used it, but I don't think it's as fluid as something like Spotify is going to be, right?
Well, so. And the big thing, too, is, the quality is good on Tidal, but if you're someone who knows how to balance your equalizer, you can have it just as good on Spotify or literally any other rips to get it going. I'm myself a pretty huge audiophile, too. I like to make sure that everything sounds just so when I listen to it. So I adjust the EQ as I need to, and everything is set. And
everything's pretty good. Yeah.
I don't notice any difference.
Yep. And most people don't, because they're playing it in the car on their, their headphones, in their earbuds while they're running whatever. And the slight little things you might hear that, the raw, studio tapes rip is going to really provide, you're not going to even hear on that kind of stuff. So is it worth it? Probably not.
You know what else really isn't worth it? While I'm at it, fuck it. I'm coming in hot on this, right? Beats by Dre.
Yeah.
I am really upset that people still to this day pay for those, because you can literally get the exact same thing by just adjusting the equalizer yourself. The only difference between Beats by Dre and regular headphones. Are you ready for this? Are you guys fucking ready for this?
I don't know.
All they do is they boost the bass and the treble.
And they put weights in the plastic casing of the headphones to make them feel like higher quality products.
Exactly. Yeah. It's literally all a placebo effect. You're paying an extra $150 for something that you can get out of like a pair of $30, $40 headphones.
Yeah. It's sad, but they've got the brand loyalty. They've got the name. They got Dr. Dre on there. He's huge. Beats. They've got the advertising out there. They partner with HP on some of their laptops. They're doing the marketing right, and that's where they're making that money. And it doesn't there's a ton of brands that are like that. Oh, we'll make a few adjustments here and call it a revolutionary new thing, and they sell fantastic. And that
Apple,
people buy into that. It's a continuous thing. You're always gonna have people buy into that, right? People that are loyal to those brands, and they hear a name that, okay, that must be great and fantastic and worth my money. So
it's that marketing game.
It is. It really is. Yeah, and they've done it right, I gotta say. But yes, I agree. It's a huge ripoff. So please don't buy them.
Exactly. Man, you know what isn't a huge ripoff though? Seeing Dr. Suzanne Laskaska at Bay Veterinary Clinics.
Oh, she is.
Segue, right?
Talk about doing it right.
Delona on US 2 and 41 in Escanaba. Dr. Suzanne Laskaska at Bay Veterinary Clinics helps birds, reptiles, and all of your four-legged friends. Stop by or call 906-786-1878. They're open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Also, feel free to check out their website, which is bayvetclinic.com. Once again, that's bayvetclinic.com. So, big news happened yesterday that I feel like we're probably going to spend, this last half an hour talking about, because that seemed to be the thing yesterday. Brexit.
Brexit happened. They're leaving. Yeah.
Thank you.
This is big news. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing that gets me the most, right? So it was just barely voted in, right? It was 52% to 48%. So, it just barely went through. But here's the thing that upsets me the most is just after that happened, it was literally a couple hours after everything was tallied and everything was said and done. Okay, yep, we're going to be leaving the European Union. No one knew what the hell that meant in the UK.
Yeah, I saw your post on Facebook. Yep.
Didn't know what the European Union was. So according to the Google Trends data here, the number one searched thing just in the UK itself, what does it mean to leave the European Union? Number two is, what is the European Union? Oops, I have a video. Sorry about that, people. Yeah, those were the top two questions, and yet they still voted to do it. They don't understand the implications of this at all. So let's go ahead and pick at this for a second here. I actually ran the math on this once I saw that this was happening, right? That people legitimately didn't know what was going on with the European Union when they're in the European Union. And again, I'm not a very political man. I don't presume to know what the implications are behind this. This is just an outside looking in. But let's break this down with real good raw math for a second, all right? So as of the latest census, there's 111,143 people in the UK, right? Let's say that, let's be real generous here and say 70% of those people are of voting age. That's 45,577,800 people, right? Again, this is just in the UK that I did this. We'll go ahead and be generous and say of those 70% of people that are of age, maybe 50% voted, okay? So 50% of that would be 22,788,900 people. That's a lot of people, right? And let's take 52% of that and say that they're the 52% who voted to actually the European Union. That's 11,850,228 people. And yet the most trending thing is, what does that mean? When 11 million people voted for it. Again, rough numbers.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much being generous with this, but yeah, how? Do you think you would want to know these things before you go ahead and make the vote for it, right?
Yeah.
I think because...
Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
I think just because a lot of like British citizens kind of will make fun of Americans and American politics and such, we kind of almost...
We're silly.
We put ourselves down a little bit, though, about like our own politics and such. But then we see things like this, and it kind of seems like everybody in every country just doesn't know what the hell's going on with their own government.
That's basically what it comes down to, yeah.
Nobody really like looks into things and like tries to find the hard facts and everything. They're just like, I'm just going to do what the most popular opinion is, or what's my circle around me, what they do.
And that's exactly what people are doing these days, too. It's not even, it's like you said, it's not segregated to just us here. It's society as a whole. Yeah. That's just the way that at least our generation I've seen. And people these days in general react. They want everything to happen in the moment. They don't care about long-term implications, so they're not going to look into things like this. They're just going to go, oh, yeah, that sounds good, and then move on with their lives and see what funny dad boy meme is coming up on Facebook next. I don't know.
That's what they're saying, though, with the... oh, sorry, I interrupted what you were going to say again, though.
Well, it's kind of on that same point. It's the movement, right? People get caught up in the movement, and they want to see...
Random numbers, too, people. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, my God. My God. He wrote down numbers.
Statistics, motherfuckers.
Wow.
Go on.
Wow. People, I was actually up till like 1:30 in the morning the night of the vote watching CNN because Cameron was going to come out and talk eventually. I forget. It was just past 7 a.m.
He was going to say something. It was just, is it going to be he's resigning or thank Christ I can keep my job?
Right. And so they had they have the cameras on 10, whatever the street is that he lives on. And I was watching it, and I went to bed, and I remember I got up the next morning, and I went on MSNBC, just caught up on, the latest, what he said, et cetera. And there was this video. I scrolled down a little bit, and there's this video, and they interviewed a girl there, probably in her early 20s. And she said she voted for the Leave movement. And, she was actually sad that she didn't think, her and her family didn't think it would actually they would win. Right. It's like they were doing this because it was the thing to do, was to vote Leave. So she said if she had the chance to vote again, she would vote Remain. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy to me that a movement like that. But this movement, again, it's the marketing, getting them out, getting their name out there, getting that change is a thing. And people get excited about change, especially a lot of young people, and especially the middle class or people that are hurting. And that's what it seemed like here, is that a lot of the middle classes did a lot of that voting to Leave. They got excited and they voted for this. And I think a lot of people didn't think it was going to happen. We know that a lot of people didn't think it was going to happen.
And yeah, I think that's the big thing too, is they just decided, all right, I'm going to go with what's popular right now. And okay,
exactly
to vote.
Exactly.
But then see that it actually happened. It's, oh shit, what the hell did we just do?
Yeah. Now what happens, right? And they're worried because they don't, and it's like, you didn't think about that. Like, hey, if we vote this, our economy is going to tank, or this is going to happen, right? Which is, there's a lot of projections. Within
an hour of that news breaking, I think it was, that they were leaving the European Union, the pound sterling, which is the only thing that the UK can rely on now that they don't have the euro, the pound sterling dropped by 10%. So that's 10% of the total value that their money has lumped right off the top. It's gone.
Yep. Took us back to 1985. Last time it was that low. That's crazy.
And here's what's really interesting too is, so when our recession hits back in 2006, 2007, around that time, it was pretty bad for us here in the United States. It was worse over in the UK or the European Union as a whole, I guess. And really the only reason that the UK was able to get through it and manage everything was because of the European Union. They helped them out immensely. If it wouldn't have been for them, they would have gone the way of Greece and gone bankrupt. Mm-hmm. So who's to say what's going to happen now that this is really going to be a thing? Right. Now, the thing to keep in mind with this is it's not going to be immediate that they leave the European Union, right? Let's just go ahead and assume that this moves at a quick pace for politics. They'll put in the formal request to leave the European Union within the next 6 months. I can't see this happening before 6 months from now because everything's got to move at the speed of bureaucracy. Exactly, yeah. But once that formal request is put in, there's only one of two things that can happen with them. They can either negotiate their terms to leave the European Union, and that's that, they're out, or they are unable to negotiate terms and they leave 2 years after the initial date of the request to get out. So within 2 years of them saying, yeah, we're going to leave, they're out one way or another. It's either they're going on good terms or, shit, what the fuck have we just done? We're fucked.
Well, what they were saying, though, I don't understand British politics or anything really that's going on over there.
And again, we're not going to presume to, but go ahead.
Not presuming anything, but what they were saying, the couple things I've seen is they're looking for. They knew there was going to be the short-term sting of it, but they're looking for the long-term benefit because a lot of the pro-leave people that weren't just like, oh, this is what we're doing. A lot of the pro-leave people that were actually like studied on it and wanted it were because of the EU control. There's just way too much bureaucracy adding multi-state level government over it, that like anything they wanted to do had to go through the EU.
Right. And that was the big reason that a lot of people wanted to leave the EU in general, was they were sick of other countries controlling the politics in the UK there. They wanted to have more of a say in what was going on in their country. It would be like, it would be like Canada saying, this is what you guys can do in your country to us. So I can understand it from that aspect, but again, you've got to think long-term implications and what the European Union has really done for them. So let's just look at this from a technological standpoint because that's our background, right? Mm-hmm. Why is broadband standard for every single house in the UK? European Union. Why is it that even when you travel just from Wales, from the UK there, that you don't get roaming fees on your cell phone? European Union. There's a lot of stuff that they've done from a technological standpoint that they're going to be missing out on now too. Mm-hmm. Hang on, let me find the article that has that. So
that's crazy. I did not know that. That's they're going to lose a lot of stuff, and that's why they have to renegotiate a lot of this stuff. And it's going to get better in some cases. I think it's going to get worse in some cases. But there's a lot of freedoms they're taking for granted that the EU is the reason that they're there. So, but I mean, in the same sense, in the same vein, I heard things about, oh, well, the EU holds over our wages, like the decision for the minimum maximum that businesses could. And I can see people in the lead camp, they're like, well, why is my business, I'm a small business owner, why am I tied by the entire European Union as to what I can pay my employees? I can see some frustrations there. Mm-hmm. It's just one example, but yeah, that's crazy.
But there's so much good that it did for them too. And again, we're not going to say which is better, which is what, but just looking at facts from the outside in is all we're doing here. But there were... Like, say you're a citizen of Great Britain, right? You want to go work over in France. No big deal. You don't even need a passport. It's part of the European Union. Just go over there and do it, dude. Have fun. Mm-hmm. Let us get us a bagel or something. I don't know. Baguette. Words are hard.
It's like crossing state lines over in the EU.
That's essentially what it is, yeah. It'd be like if I wanted to go work in Wisconsin. Yeah, there's a little paperwork that I would have to do, but not nearly as much as they're going to have to do now.
Yeah. Actually, in the interim, they're going to have to. A lot of businesses are going to have to worry about complying with EU and with the new reformed Great Britain laws. A lot of tax things and things like that. So it's going to be a lot of the short-term sting is actually going to be really stretched out and really hard on a lot of people.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be rough for them because you're going to need a passport. You're going to need a passport to go anywhere from Britain to any of the other countries that are in the European Union now, even if you go to like Ireland or something like that. Normally, like you said, it'd be like traveling state to state for us. Yeah, we'd get a little bit of guff because, oh, you're from out of state. But, now it's going to become a whole fucking thing.
And the whole immigrations, visas, customs things, like a lot of people who who are over, maybe they're traveling around the EU from United States or something. Now they're going to have to try to figure out what they're doing if they're going to kind of go through Great Britain, because they're going to have to worry about. So I've got like a visa for the EU, but that's no good for Great Britain anymore. Things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to make traveling a lot harder. I'm interested. Just, if this leave camp, if they're as strong-headed in terms of actually, mid to long term, this being worthwhile, I want to see where it goes and how much better things can get, what their claims are, and see them come to fruition. And maybe it will make them stronger, better somehow. But it's hard to see that when you've got the news reporting that Scotland and Northern Ireland are basically poised to leave. And I know Scotland for sure has said that they're going to, rejoin the EU. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Scotland wanted to stay because the EU was a nice check on the UK government when they couldn't leave previously. When they couldn't leave the UK.
Right.
So, countries that are in the UK, it's Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Great Britain, right?
I believe so. I think 5.
There might be.
Yeah, I think. I don't know too much about the UK.
Right, yeah, because, again, we're U.S.
But,
yeah, plugs. But, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see because from what I understand, getting back into the European Union once you leave, it's either not possible or super hard as shit to get back in. Again, I was just reading on this a little bit yesterday. I don't know too much. But just from what I could grasp, it's going to be like just a whole fucking thing now. Let me bring that article back up so I can see here. And I'm going to try to keep talking so that we don't have dead air too, though.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I mean, who's really going to care? Proud of you guys, the maybe 3 of you that are tuning into this live.
Thank you, by the way. You are awesome people for spending your Saturday watching us.
Which, you know what? While we go ahead and look that up, let me just do some YouTube fucking stuff right here real quick. So, last podcast that we had, we announced the art contest that we were going to do for our channel, right? The hopes was that within the month that we gave people, we would get at least a couple submissions so that we could get logos for the pressure cooker here, for Under the Table, maybe our shorts, Pyro Playtime, what have you, even the channel itself. We got 1 entry, which we should have seen coming, I guess, because we've only got 71 subscribers. Hey, proud of you guys for staying subscribed.
Love you guys.
Yeah, you guys fucking rule, and thank you guys for tuning in. But yeah, we only got 1 entry, so the contest is kind of a wash. The one person who did enter in some art, though, you know who you are. We're still going to be in touch with you, and we're going to try to get you in for a short because clearly you're the #1 fan or the most artistically apt fan. What happened?
Something.
We'll be getting a hold of you, so keep an eye out for some stuff from us. So let's see here. So it was late 2009 that a new article went in called the Lisbon Treaty, which is what is making this Britain leaving the UK, or the UK leaving the EU. Holy crap, words are so hard. Is what's going to make it most challenging because they still don't know exactly what it means in terms of the EU and in terms of this here. So they gotta work out exactly what that means before they can even do any of these negotiations. Which is again why I said it's probably gonna be like 6 months at least before they put in the formal resignation request for this. And even then, who knows how well it's gonna work.
Yeah. The United Kingdom is England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
So
okay, so we were close.
Correct ourselves.
But yeah, it's again just watching this from the outside in. It's gonna be real interesting to see whether we want it or not. I mean, society has made history yet again, even if they didn't understand all the implications of it according to Google Trends.
It's not how any history has happened anyway. People just kind of did something and then somebody reported on it later with how they think it happened.
Sometimes greatness is thrust upon us.
Yes.
And it's our choice what we do with it. Or something like that. It's a Shakespeare.
I was watching MSNBC last night, and I believe it was the Rachel Maddow show, and she had a speech that Winston Churchill had given where he actually called for something like the European Union. This was, I believe, in 45 or 1946. And he actually called the United States of Europe. And after that, she went through a timeline of how the EU actually got started and all the good it's done since it was created. Mm-hmm. It was created to solve a problem, right? World War I, World War II. Holy crap, guys! You guys need to chill out. We need to be friends. Let's make this better for everyone. And it has done that thus far. I think me and a lot of people are worried about what this means. And there's been word of untangling. Germany is, you search it now and there's a news thing, Germany saying that 5 other countries could leave, and what does this mean, and blah, blah, blah. Let's take it in stride. I think a lot of people are saying things way ahead of time. I don't think this is as nearly as bad as people are thinking. In the realm of, there's going to be a World War III. Oh my gosh!
It's not going to get that. If it gets that bad, I would be surprised.
Holy cow! Yeah, yep. But we'll see.
There's definitely long-term implications that we need to take into account, because it's going to affect us in the U.S. here as well. So this is something that we should be keeping an eye on. We should know what's happening. But it's going to take a while before those implications even become a thing. There's going to be some short-term ones, like the GDP already dropped.
Economic.
Excuse me, in the UK. Even the... I should just stop talking.
Where's up with
not
words
the
today?
GDP, but the other one. Not the domestic product, but...
GNP?
Thank you, the GNP. That's even starting to drop a little bit too. So yeah, there's short-term implications, but that's mostly just because people are freaking out without needing to really at this point. They're just making assumptions and acting on them, basically.
It's like stock market speculation. There's going to be a lot of really short-term extreme fluctuations.
Right, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. So I'll go ahead and just end it with this here, at least with my thoughts on it. So there was another article that I read, again, on CNET, of a reporter who works for them. He resides in the UK is where he lives, but he works in Paris. And he's very much enjoyed the freedom to be able to just cross through those borders, again, like traveling through states. It wasn't a big issue for him. And he was going on about how he's so disappointed in this vote here, because he referred it more to like tribalism back in the old days, where, all right, this is my stake of claim of land, and now none of you guys can come in, and if you don't like that, well, I'm basically just going to take my bat and ball and go home.
You can get out.
Basically, yeah. And he's referring it to that, where it's going to weaken us as a whole, because... So we live in an age where barriers have just been broken down so much between country to country across the whole globe here, right? The internet's a wonderful thing. It allows us to keep in contact and know what's happening literally at a moment's notice anywhere else in the country.
We're 10 hours away right now.
And we still know exactly what's going on.
Podcast.
Exactly, yeah. They could be watching us if they're not asleep or whatever. But,
I mean, us and Mario, but I mean, like, we're 10 hours away. Then we can do a live broadcast together because of the internet.
Hey, we rule.
Pretty fantastic.
So yeah, the internet has done wonderful things to break down all these barriers, but at the same time, there's still physical barriers that are there now. I mean, you're probably going to be seeing barbed wire fences put up around the borders to make sure that UK stays the UK, fucking things like that. It's
build a wall. It'll be the best wall.
Okay, Trump. But yeah, it's going back to tribalism is what he's saying, and it's going to weaken them as a whole, he thinks. And again, too early to say, who knows, but it's going to be interesting to see where this is going to go. That's just my thoughts with it.
The people have decided. I have to say, I agree very much with how Britain did this. It is a very democratic process, and they said, you know what? People
Let
vote.
the people decide.
This is your thing. Let the people decide. And there was no proxy. There was none of that. They took the votes. They counted them. And this is the decision of the people. And, that's fantastic.
It's no like the whole thing. It was straight democracy.
Yeah, I do respect that. I think that is correct. And Cameron was right. He came out and he said, you know what? You guys decided this. That's cool. I want what's best for Britain. If the people of Britain feel like this is the thing, this is the thing, and I will do whatever I can in my power to bring it on. So exactly. I hope everyone out there, they've made this decision. I hope they everything's okay over there, and well, as best it can be, and everyone, you know, there's no huge riots or anything like that. I don't think there's anything like that, but you know, hopefully this works out, and they take it in stages, and it comes into a you know, positive light for the country and what they need and what the people believe in. So
UK, don't worry your pretty little heads too much. It's all right. We're not a part of the European Union either.
Yeah, we're doing just
Right.
fine.
Everything's okay. All right. Well, I think on that note, we're going to end it here for a month. So thank you guys for tuning into our podcast. We'll see you next time.